So this talk is on 10 life hacks, lifestyle hacks to improve weight loss, improve your health, happiness when your willpower fails you. Can anybody relate to that? Uh-huh. You know how I know? If you ask somebody, if they're having going through a rough period, 99% of the time they're going to say yes. That's what life is about. So our challenges and our stresses make us stronger. These are some life hacks. I'm David. Michelle's my wife back there, and Jacob, my videographer. I'm excited about this topic because I went through a lifestyle transformation. In my 40s, I was, I said 30 pounds, and Michelle says, no, it's probably more like 40 pounds. And my whole family, on my father's side, I'm very active. I bike, I ride, I do all sorts. I ski, but I just started putting on weight, and then I noticed, oh wow, everybody in my family on my father's side was obese, and I thought, I don't want that to happen. And I asked my aunt. My aunt does family history, and I said, well, what is it about our genes that makes us, gain weight? And she said, well, it's not the pack side, it's the other side, because she can look at the pictures and see certain lines that were more prone to gain weight. So I set on a journey, and as you can see, I've done it. But I had a real big reason. I could see my daughters also starting down the same path. My son, my father, biological father, had depression, he had addictions, ended up committing suicide because he couldn't handle it. And so I had a real big reason to try to figure out what the problem was. Now, my doctor was just telling me, look, Dave, you need to lose weight. You need your triglycerides, your blood markers are not good, high risk. And now they're all like low risk. So that's the transformation. Took me a few years to get there, but what it really took was after the recession, the 2008 recession, we lost our house. We ended up in a neighborhood where, fortunately, one of the guys in the neighborhood were friends with our kids. We were all in the scouting, and we'd sit around the campfire, and we loved hearing Rob talk. And he had read so many books, and this fired up guy. And I thought, so I asked him, well, what do you do for a living? He says, I'm a life coach. What's that? And so he came over, and he walked me through what he did. And I said, well, I want that. I want to be more happy. I want to be able to meet my goals. I had some goals all my life I haven't been able to get. And then I talked to the lady next door, and I said, well, Shishi, what do you do for a living? She said, I help people get healthy, lose weight. I either help athletes or men, women, it doesn't matter. I got the system that works 100% of the time. Oh, almost. She said if you have Hashimoto's or pituitary, there's something. It's like you got to be careful, But if you don't have a couple, it's a nutrition and it's a detox. So I learned from Shishi that I had it was my stinking diet. That was the problem. And I learned from Rob that it was my stinking thinking. I needed to have a detox. And I needed to get good quality nutrition and information into my gut and into my brain. And voila, it was just the secret. So, let's see, I got the clicker. We ended up just being so energetic about it that I can't stop trying to help other people with it. So Michelle and I, we now help people with their lifestyle transformations. We know that 80% or better, Brad said it's more like 99 or something, of the chronic diseases, obesity, diabetes, heart attack, cancer, depression, chronic fatigue, blood pressure, and poverty are caused by our lifestyles. So, according to the 80-20 rule, I'm going to go for the 80 by just doing the 20, which is the lifestyle. Michelle also got on fire. She cured herself, reversed herself of, she thought she had arthritis. In fact, we had to move to a warmer climate. And then she found out, oh, it wasn't arthritis. It was what she was eating. So she was able to turn herself around, and now she does health coaching. She has like 87 clients that she sees every week between her and their health coach. People make progress all the time. So it's been a wonderful journey. It was made possible by some of the struggles that I had gone through. I had a big reason why to research and to try to figure it out. So this is our results achieving exercise, the papers that you have. The first hack is to start with a big why. I told you my why. And I told you, I know that each one of you are searching for or desiring more abundance in your life in one of these areas. And I want you to write down something that comes to mind. One of these we're going to focus on, either happy, healthy, wealthy, or strong, mentally, physically. I like to think of it as mentally strong. That will be the best version. That will help you be the best version of yourself, of a greater service to humanity and to your family, and something that will help you be a miracle, somebody's miracle someday. So I want you to go ahead and write one of those 4 words down. And now I want you to write down the why you want that result. And you need to make it big. You need to make it important. Because that's one of the hacks. If it's not important enough, you're going to let it slip. You're going to let it slide. You're going to think, oh, another day, it's okay. Something, YouTube was more important, or binging Netflix would be maybe more important. Okay, now I want you to list an action or a habit that will help you achieve that desired result. List an action that you know that if you took, it would get you on the step towards more abundance of one of the results that you wanted, that you have been struggling with, that you know you should, but haven't been able to muster the courage, the enthusiasm, or the motivation. Now, one other life hack. Number 4 is to list the sabotaging habit or limiting belief that is holding you back. Know your enemy. It could be knowledge. In my case, I didn't know how to turn my health around. It could be, I get distracted by, I keep going to YouTube because that's Netflix and YouTube are pretty distracting, and Facebook. It could be my health. It could be, I just don't feel energized enough. And this is a list of other things that when our willpower fails us. Actually, I might not talk about those yet and get some input from y'all. What are some of the things youth can think about that stand in your way of progress? You can raise your hands. What are some of the sabotaging beliefs, limits? Yes.
Just thinking that there's more time.
Thinking there's more
time, I could do it later.
Oh, procrastinate. Yeah. There's more time, yeah. What's the rush?
Right.
Yeah. Any
I had something for time management.
time management? Great. Brad?
I'd say a couple things. One is the belief that people can't afford our program because we live in a poor area of the state. Secondly, the habit was to speak in front of more people.
Yeah.
To get out there in front of more people.
Mm-hmm.
And so the sabotaging habit or the limiting belief is, I don't know how or where to find our ideal client, the people who can afford our program and who are ready for transformation, to feel better.
Yeah.
So,
Great.
yeah.
So sabotaging would be not putting yourself out there.
Not so much
No.
not putting ourselves out there, it's more as where to find a place. The
So,
place is to put
is it-
ourselves out there.
Yeah. No.
We're very comfortable about getting out there in front of people,
You're very charismatic.
but again, it's that sabotaging belief that I don't know how to do it. So
Yeah. Great. Here's a list that I kind of put together. When our willpower fails us, we don't have a big enough why. So that's one of the life hack, one of the hacks. Or our goal was not specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, or time-bound. That's a SMART goal. We don't have step-by-step action plan to get from A to B to C to eventually Z. But I actually don't think Z exists. Because perfection has no end. And we're here on the earth to be as good as we can get. So, yes.
But a lot of times we only see Z, but we don't see how to get there. So we need steps in between.
Yes. So if we don't have a step to get from A to B, that's our first. We just focus on Z. Think, oh, it's down the road, or I got time. Fears, doubts, discouraged. When we get discouraged, think it's too hard. Failures. We keep doing it over and over again, and we keep failing. There was a guy who went with his daughters to skate, to teach them how to skate, ice skate, roller skate. And for the first 2 lessons, all they did was learn how to fall. Like they put a cushion on them and like, okay, now fall. Okay, now fall. Okay, now fall. It's like, why are you teaching them to fall? Why don't you teach them to skate? But it was magic. Once they knew that they could fail and get back up, they weren't afraid of failing anymore, of falling. It's like, up, pop back up. That's one of the life hacks. Pop back up. I often on my diet, I fail. But I know I can pop back up and get right back on track. Fears, that stops us for a long time. You know how many years they've been doing this festival? A long time. This is the first time I had the courage to do a workshop. It takes a little bit. It takes a little bit of courage, doesn't it? Thank you for coming. Maybe we're addicted to pleasure or comfort or cravings, or urges, or thoughts, or hunger pains. Yeah, I got hunger pains. We just gotta get over it. I've learned that hunger is a chemical. It doesn't mean I'm gonna die. Sometimes we forget, and we have a program on how to help you not forget. One of them is right here. See what that says? Is it upside down? No. Can you read that?
Yeah, happy, healthier, wealthier, strong.
Yeah, those are my goals. I see that every time I take a drink of water. To remind me, those are what are the results that I want in my life.
It's a good affirmation.
It's a wonderful affirmation, yeah. Okay, I'll go a little deeper on it. There was a scientist in Japan that took water, and he took 2 glasses of water. On one glass, he said love, happiness, and peace. On the other one is like hate, all sorts of negative words that I can't even conjure up. And then he froze it, and then he photographed them, and the one with the wonderful words on it were beautiful crystalline structures, and the one that had negative words on it were like flawed, misshapen, and not symmetrical. So, is it real? I don't know about whether it's real with ice, but it's real with reminding me what the results I want. Limiting beliefs and self-talk. I am not smart enough. I am not healthy enough. I'm not cute enough. That wouldn't go for you because you would not have that problem. I'm not energetic enough. We have a program for self-talk. I'll give you a little hint about this one. There was a guy, recorded his voice, saying, because I think he was overweight. He recorded his voice saying, I am healthy. I am healthy. I am strong. I am happy. I do what happy people do. I do what healthy people do. And he just recorded a bunch of stuff like that, and he played it while he shaved. And that alone, he lost like, I don't know, 30 pounds. Just the thoughts. The other miraculous thing that happened was that his wife also lost 30 pounds. Just listening to his affirmations as he shaved. We can be a big influence on other people too. Mentally, we can become a victim. A victim mentality, when we think things are conspiring against us. My mom had a funny way of reminding us about that when she said, unjust, but she said,
I'm not paranoid.
I'm not paranoid. Everybody is out to get me. She was a funny lady. She died of diabetes way too early. The doctor told her she had fatty liver and didn't know. She said, do you drink? No. I don't know. The liver is what we need to detox. All the stuff that comes into us. She died of diabetes, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. It could have been detoxed if she had had a better liver. My wife, a client of ours, has this fatty liver. Hey, he got a fatty liver. Result back from the doctor, and she's been on fire. Books, stacks of books, how to detox the liver. And we don't know if it's working for us because we have good livers, but it's a protocol that she wanted to make sure it was easy enough for him to do. And I keep saying you gotta love your liver. You gotta fall in love with the organs that you can't see, because that's all we got. My dad was also funny. He said, I can resist anything but temptation. So, another life hack is get used to doing hard things. Get used to doing hard things. The struggle is the spice that makes victory taste great. That's what's from a leadership seminar. The difference between try and triumph is a little oomph. Sometimes we just need to do hard things. Working hard for something we don't care about is called stress. Like our job, that stresses us. Working hard for something we love is called passion. Simon Sinek. He said that. He was the one that has the book Start With a Why. We know that and you want to talk about hard, only 2% of overweight people are able to lose their weight, keep it off. That seems pretty hard, doesn't it? We know that 65% of us are overweight or obese. 1 out of every 2 little boys in the South has diabetes. That's hard. When I told my sister, one of my friends, I had a high school reunion, won't tell you how many years. My friend said, "Man, you look so much younger than anybody else." I said, "Thanks." And my sister recently said, "Dave, what are you doing?" And I gave her this list of stuff that I do. And she said, "That's pretty extreme." I said, I didn't really say it to her, but I've said it to other people. I said, no, you want to know what extreme is? To die of dementia, diabetes, heart attack. When my daughter's boss, he was a fit, active tennis player, whatnot. He had a heart attack. You crack open your chest. They open it like this. They expose all your chest. Sorry, they cut out your, bypass, and then they take, arteries or veins, and I said, that is extreme. When it could have been fixed by a lifestyle change. A little bit less pizza, a little bit less soda pop and ice cream. It hit him really hard. So don't let skinny fool you. There is actually a prediction that you can do that can tell you many years out whether or not you have a heart problem, a coronary hardening of the arteries. Your doctors won't tell you about it. It's a calcium score. Why doesn't he tell you about it? Because insurance doesn't pay for it. Why don't they pay for it? You'll have to Google that. But it's crazy. I said, so that's extreme. So I'm going to go on to the next. Another life hack is to seek for purpose instead of pleasure. Purpose instead of pleasure. This is a quote from Viktor Frankl, who was in the concentration camps during World War II. He survived. And he said, when a person can't find a deep sense of meaning, they distract themselves with pleasure. He wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning. He made it through the concentration camps because he had a meaning. He had a purpose in his life. His purpose, he was a psychiatrist. His purpose was to know what it took to make it through the concentration camp and write a book about it. And he did it. And it's a life-changing book. There is little purpose, there is little pleasure in growth, and there is little growth in pleasure. The next saying here is, my fear is not in dying, but in not living a meaningful life. we don't find a purpose in our life, it can lead to depression. Another life hack is to be motivated by others, coaches or community. This is a Facebook group I belong to that motivates me. It's like, they can do it, he can do it, I can do it. And we share how we do it. You can be motivated. My kids love Tesla cars. Anytime there's a Tesla, look at the Tesla. So I say, great, go for the Tesla. Because I know to get the Tesla, they're going to have to help a lot of people help get what they want so that they can get what they want. Nice car, nice house, money, that motivated me. Somebody says, how can you afford to eat all this organic food? It's expensive. I say, how can I afford not to? I didn't get a raise one year. It was worth $3,000, and that's going to accumulate over a lifetime. I need to focus. I need to be able to be on my game, just as good as any professional athlete. Why shouldn't I eat what the athletes are eating? Why is their family or their job any more important than ours? This is a $20 bill I put on the fridge. My daughter said, Mom, why is that $20 bill on the fridge? Well, Dad bet that he could go to bed by 10 o'clock this week. And she said, I could do that. I said, well, then it's yours if you can do it. And then began our $20 challenge. Each week we had them list, okay, every week we'll have a $20 challenge. Here's a pad, write down life skills and life talents that would help you get that Tesla. And they wrote these down. I said, okay, what are you going to do this week? Oh, Jacob said, okay, I'm going to be fully engaged in my class. I'm going to raise my hand 10 times a day. Great. Did you do it? Yeah. Next week, what are you going to do? I'm going to be generous. Okay. How are you going to measure that? I'm going to give 10 compliments a day. Okay. Did you do it? Yeah. Here's your 20. What are you going to do next week? Just stumbled on this little hack. Sometimes we're motivated by money. We should be. We have to provide for ourselves, our families. We need to be the best we can. My son is, he's in a lot of sports. We hire coaches for our kids, and those coaches do amazing things. Jake has become a workout maniac. He just he'll push himself because he wants to be good, because his coach wants him to be on varsity. He needs to be bigger and stronger. So he's motivated by that coach. We hire coaches for our kids all the time. Why don't we hire coaches for ourselves? We should. I did, and it made a huge difference in my life. This guy here, I showed you some pictures of some gorgeous looking people. This guy goes on stage, he has no arms and no legs. And he tells people, if you have a body image problem, get over it. God loves you. He has a purpose for you. He said he tried to commit suicide when he was, I think, 10. Because he was bullied and he was harassed. Didn't feel good. He jumped in the pool. And he was just going to drown. He thought, oh, my family loves me and they're going to feel sad. So he used his little flipper, he said, to come back to the surface, because his family, the love of his family motivated him. He said, thank goodness I have that flipper. And then one day, he said, when you don't get your miracle, you never got his arms and legs. You can be somebody else's miracle. One day it happened to him. He was on stage and he talks to thousands of people to tell them their self-worth. And one day he had never seen another person without arms and legs like him. And one day he saw a little boy being carried by his dad. No arms and legs. He asked him to come up to the stage, and he said, finally, the day has arrived when I can be somebody's miracle, because I know what that boy's going to go through. He's going to be sad and depressed. I'm not like the others. That's the day, his miracle. He decided he could be somebody else's miracle. And I invite you to be somebody's miracle. Okay. Here's another hack. Get good at predicting the future. Get good at predicting the future. When I did, and you can get good at predicting the future by asking this. When I did blah, 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 then this happened. Blah, blah, blah. When I went to bed late, I didn't feel good in the morning. When I didn't sleep that night before, I just could not stop eating. I was hungry. When I gave a compliment, I felt good. And you can repeat that on, and you can get good at predicting the future. And then you can get good at creating your future. Abraham Lincoln said, the best way to predict your future is to create it. Michelle has a technique she calls the if-then. If I eat this, then what will happen? Is that what you want? There's a technique, a trigger. We teach a mechanism where you can turn your triggers into another situation where you see something, you're tempted, and you can program yourself to do something besides what that trigger used to mean. Okay, another way to get good at predicting the future and to motivate yourself is to measure. Peter Drucker said, what motivates, what gets measured, gets improved. Thomas S. Monson said, when performance is measured, performance improves. I know that from engineering. We make these parts, and if they're not in spec, then we tweak something, and they can be a little more in spec, and we keep tweaking things until they're, we call it in control. Also, when performance is measured and reported, the rate of performance accelerates. This is when I was tracking my weight. When I had Shishi right next door, my weight was like, I was in a challenge. And it was just this awesome, I saw I could do it. And then I thought I was cured. I wasn't cured. I went back to eating kind of what I did and as much as I did, and I wasn't cured. But I knew what to do to get back. And it happened. When I go on vacation and I eat the wrong things, that happened. I know what to do to get back. And now, I can predict the future. My daughter asked me, Dad, can you go off your diet? Can you have a cheat day? I said, yes, I can have cake at my daughter's wedding. I can have ice cream. Brownies and ice cream are my one weakness. One of my one weaknesses. But I also know I can predict the future. It only takes me 3 days to lose 3 pounds. So I don't worry about it. Get good at predicting the future. Here's a list of some of the motivational hacks that we've talked about. Community, the big why, tracking, reporting, do hard things. Competition makes it fun. Jacob and I and some of the folks in my family, I challenged them to a planking contest. You know, it's like, okay, who can do the longest plank? Which is, you know what planks are.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did my personal best. And then I said, now you guys do your personal best, and then in a month, we'll report what's the who can improve it? 2 days later, I did a hack. And I doubled my time. I doubled my time by listening to that coach talk to his kids. You can do it. You can do it. Give me 100%. You said you'd give me 100%. Yeah, but it hurts. It's okay. It's okay. Give me 100%. And it's like, I just knew that growth comes from struggle. I just in my mind, growth comes from struggle. No pain, no gain. I know a lot of meditators don't jive with that, but sometimes you just got to give it all you got. You got to walk around and invite people, even though it was scary for me to walk around and invite people. Sometimes it just takes a little courage. Where are we? Seek for purpose. Seek for purpose, not pleasure. We talked about that. The truth. There's a saying in the New Testament that says, "Truth shall set you free." I added a little bit to it. Truth and action will set you free. One day I saw this on my refrigerator. In my refrigerator, I opened the door, and there on the milk container, written in big bold letters, was anything minus action equals squat. Diddly, nothing. So who put this here? My daughter Lindsay put it on there because she was listening to one of the audios from my life coach. Talked about action, and she thought it was a good idea. She wrote it on the note. Yeah, she put it on there. So even though I was listening to these audios, she was also listening to these audios. We can be an influence on people. You never know. She's awesome. One more story about Lindsay. I was and our limiting beliefs, negative thoughts. Sometimes we just need somebody else to show us. Jacob kept saying, "Dad, your push-ups you don't have very good forms." Well, I think I did. Video recorded. It was like, nope. Sometimes you just can't see. There's things you just can't see. You need somebody else's help with. We were driving down the road. There was a truck in front of us. No passing. It's like, I wish this truck would get out of the way so we could, go. Lindsay said, "Speak it into existence." So I did. And it moved. A few blocks. Coincidence? Maybe not. But she reminded me. Give yourself grace. Give yourself grace and an opportunity to change directions. I thought I was supposed to do such and such for a living. Didn't work out. But it was a breadcrumb. It was like what I was supposed to do at the time. If there's something somebody else has, I think, and I repeat to myself, it's not my journey. Be okay with your journey. What God's put you on the earth to do. Give yourself grace. There's a guy that I really envied his house. I loved his house. But he had his issues. He envied my family. Wouldn't trade. We also talk. We have as part of our coaching. There was a guy, a morning miracle. Wake up, energize yourself. We have a whole seminar on how to energize yourself for the morning. I had one guy I coached. I said, "You got to read books." He said, "Why read books? Because I just forget." And so we have a way of making a vision board, so you remember. Affirmations, journaling, and exercise. Then restorative, restful rituals. That is a life hack. I asked my wife, she's a life coach, a health coach, and I said, "You got a pill that can make me smarter?" And she said, "It doesn't come in a pill. Mostly depends on how good you sleep." So I said, "Sleep." So I knew I could track stuff. So I bought a Fitbit, and I started tracking my sleep. And I discovered something. I discovered it was virtually impossible. I'm not saying it's totally impossible, but it was virtually impossible for me to get 6 to 7, 8 hours of sleep when I was only in my bed for 4.5 hours. It's like, oh, okay, so we got to fix that. So we try, so we have some rituals to help you figure out how to get your sleep, how to restore your bodies. Our bodies are not like cars. The cars, they just go. You put gas in it and they keep going. Our bodies are different types of machines where you can go all day very energetically. And like the sun as it sets, the restorative restfulness and the growth and the rebuild, the amyloid plaque that's been built up has to be dissolved during your sleep. Okay, so that is my invitation. Those are the life hacks. If you'd like to get coached, we love to help people. We have a website, an ebook, and I know that it's one of the most fascinating things I've come across as a hack, is to get somebody else's opinion, feedback, coaching. So now I'm all the time asking people, what did you do? I now have a life coach. I have 3 health coaches. I have people at work that I call my mentors. I ask them for coaching. So what we offer is to help people. We've been able to help people. One of the guys just needed some knowledge. He said, I just need to lose weight. I said, okay, you came to the right place. We gave him all the stuff that he needed to lose weight. And I said, but you need to have this is what you need to cook. This is what you need to cook. He said, oh, okay, well, teach your wife how to cook. No, this is not going to work. I said, okay, then you just eat what we eat. And we would make double of what we did, and we'd give him what we ate. And he said, do I have to eat that much? Yes, it's called the abundance diet. The more you eat, the more you lose. He lost 30 pounds. You mean nutrition matters? Yeah. And you gotta detox 2 times a month. I can't do that. The first time I was told, you gotta detox. You gotta go for a little fast a couple times a week. I thought, I can't do that. Yeah, I learned it doesn't kill you. It gives your body a chance to rest, cleanse, remove all the toxins. So, thank you so much for...
The handout.
Oh, thanks so much for joining us today. I would love to have your feedback. Since this was my debut as a motivational coach, as a motivational speaker. I got this idea from Brad, from watching my other mentor.
All right, good for you.
He had a handout.
Yeah.
Thank